Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Metal Gear Revengeance. I'm the Mysterious JG. Revengeance, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, excuse me. Revengeance is my favorite game in the Metal Gear Rising series. So I actually just recorded this video and then found out I didn't record the video. I just talked to myself without the recording going for, more or less a video. But the positive side of that is that I kind of was under the impression from what I'd read online that you could replay missions and get better scores and stuff. And I was always kind of... I didn't want to mess with it because the menu options didn't make it real clear whether or not you would get to keep your progress and blah, 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 blah. But I actually beat a decent chunk of plot in the Lost video, which probably will get far enough for me to see it again in this video. It was not the kind of thing that I could just, talk over, you missing it. You'd want to see it. So I had to go back and redo it. But what I found out in so doing is that it actually does... I can start a mission over and play through, which is handy, because one of the things that I found the most challenging about this game when I played it before was you really, really, really don't want to use a lot of healing items because you're really worried about saving them up for a challenging boss that you don't have a lot of knowledge is coming. Like even the end of the game, like if you finish the second to last chapter and you go into the next chapter with no healing items, like the end chapter has lots of really nasty boss fights. But I found out that you go back to the menu, you do have one save slot, so you can replay any chapter you want, and your inventory does accumulate. So it's like a Mega Man game. Like if you feel like it, you go grind for healing to put in E-tanks. Like it actually makes the game significantly less stressful than I remember it being when I played through off-screen years ago. Wasn't doing the LP hobby, just played through the game for funsies. And, you know what? I think I might have been LPing at this point. I just didn't LP this game. But, yeah, I remember this game being challenging, but I have beaten it. And I don't necessarily expect to be able to beat it with a lot of style or beat all the boss fights on the first try or anything like that. But I do feel a comfort zone with using healing items now that I know I can replay chapters and get them back. Just not blowing them against the sub-boss or mini-boss in a stage with more than one boss, which we'll see a lot of. One thing in our Lost video that I didn't do was look for new dialogue when we came into this room, so let's do that real quick.
The stealth craft made it back to Sochi all right?
Da. Safe and sound.
Ready for the
No
Olympics.
repairs necessary. Some routine maintenance and she will be as good as new.
Good to hear. I'm guessing that...
Well,
I think we already did
good
this,
news.
didn't
I was
we?
expecting a lot of Turk. Didn't feel...
it is until but late maneuver.
And we can...
You need word.
Yeah, I think we've heard all these, so this is fine.
Shall we review the copy as we
Listen. Oh, you know what? It might be that because I started the chapter over, I'm not getting new dialogues here.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to see it. It might be that... Yeah, crap. It might be that we're going to miss dialogues if I don't replay all the frickin' dialogues, which is a shame. But on the customization front, yeah, our BP accumulates. So replaying the beginning of the chapter gave me some BP. So I unlocked a couple of skills. We'll see them later. I don't necessarily know how to do them all, though. Well, I think this is something I didn't used to be able to do. And again, maybe I could always do this, and I just wasn't doing that button combo. Alright. Let's use Ninja Run to get up these stairs faster than climbing stairs. But yeah, this is the thing that I wouldn't want to just... Basically, we're about to enter into a section of the game that you probably want to see. If you want to see this game at all. So let's check it out. Just gonna walk down the hall. Nothing funny going on. Pretty standard stuff here.
Greetings, cyborg.
It's the Cylons.
Show yourself.
Show yourself. Oh wow, Millennia's voice changed, but she's still using wall-mounted chainsaw traps. My mission is to destroy humans. Oh, I guess he wasn't trying to kill you, this cyborg guy. He was just carving up the building that you were in. It's almost like a hint that you will have to use slicing open stuff as... What? Here I am pretending not to know that this was coming. I literally just told you I had to record this video twice because I wasn't recording the first time. Well, obviously I'm a cyborg ninja gangster.
I am IF prototype LQ84I.
IF prototype.
LQ84I.
All autonomous UGs feature high-level onboard artificial intelligence.
Oh, you're so
An additional
intelligent.
prototyping device enables verbal communication. I possess an
I also have optional Blu-ray player.
human reckoning.
You don't say. Okay then.
Who
What's
was that?
the meaning
Didn't
of
say.
life? Why are we
42.
here?
42.
I am here to kill you.
Yeah, but you didn't really get the first part, unless the meaning of life is to kill me. Oh, neat, I can grab stuff with the heel of my foot. That's...
That's it? Pretty simple thinking for such a mighty intellect.
Hey, shut up, man. I passed the Turing test.
Analyze orders, but I may not disobey them.
Even when they come from blonde ninja ninnies.
Memory would be wiped.
Oh, I
must
see
destroy
3PO.
you.
Enemies
What
everywhere.
is an intellect if you can't use it?
Your taunting is pointless. Exterminate.
Oh, this is a rip-off of the Daleks, man. You know, the Daleks are also known to be robot wolves. Hey, robot wolf gonna kick your ass, baby. Alright. So, there is going to be dialogue from everybody. It isn't, not Metal Gear Solid style, where you'll have one or two people who gives you, like, 5 or 6 different sets of tips. It's only going to be, like, one new thing from each person. But let's go ahead and hear it. And Doctor, I don't even think he... Well, no, Doctor does have something here to say. So let's listen to everybody's exciting dialogue about how we're going to fight the robot wolf. Operation Wolf. By the way, this, if you feel like checking out Akalis' LP, it's still on the interwebs. I gave him a lot of grief in the comment section about a point where he gets up and steps away for a few minutes to like use the facilities and didn't bother to stop recording, which is... But I mean, otherwise, I was generally really high on his LP and enjoyed the heck out of it. But this, as you might, if you know Akalis, which most of you don't, yeah, this is his favorite character, the robot wolf with a chainsaw for a tail. I guess this is the kind of thing that you think is either really awesome or you don't really are not into at all. But it's going to try to kill us, and it's got a chainsaw for a tail, so you got to take that kind of seriously in this situation.
That thing's fast.
Yes, faster than you, I suspect. In terms of pure speed, at least.
Maybe not as fast to
It cannot
finish with
run
a beautiful
circles
lady, if
around
you know
me
what I mean.
forever. It needs to attack if it wishes to win.
Yeah, and that's probably my best shot.
Duh. Don't bother chasing. Let it come to you. If you can parry its blows, you'll have a chance to counterattack. Watch its movement, and wait for the right moment to parry.
Textbook battle tactics.
okay.
Got it.
Remember,
That's
you can
how,
parry even while taking damage. Do not give up just because you are hit.
He's blinking out. So I didn't realize that you can parry after taking damage, which is good to know. But yeah, there's a textbook battle tactics. I'm like, yes, this is how, oh, God, I'm blanking on his name. The guy who defeated Napoleon at Waterloo. Ah, he's like the most famous British military commander of all time. But, no, I was going to say, yeah, that's how he won the Battle of Waterloo, by parrying Napoleon's chainsaw tail attacks.
I've seen a lot of weird stuff, but this takes the cake.
I don't know,
Well,
man. You
glad
haven't
you're
seen a lot of
entertained.
Japanese porn.
Too bad you're missing all the fun. It's a real party down here.
Sorry, buddy. My specialty's cultural studies, not combat scenarios.
Well, what the
If
hell
you're
are you
looking for
doing
my
on our
help in a
team?
brawl, you must be getting pretty desperate.
Good point.
Relax.
If you've got time to screw around on the codec, can't be all that bad, right?
It's like the
We'll
game is
see.
taking pot shots
Okay.
at previous Metal Gear games where there's 20 minutes of codec conversation for every boss fight. So it's just like, oh, I'm a cultural expert. I can't help you out in this situation. But if you want to know about furries who are really into animals, I'm your guy. I'll explain it to you.
Everything okay, Raiden?
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's a fascinating foe, but I'm not going to cut it any slack. We're dealing with terrorists here. And AI or not, it's still aiding and abetting them.
Oh, she's supposed to
Yeah.
be 23, I
Be
think.
careful, though. You might want to save your data first.
Odd that she's like a decade younger than most of the other members of your codec team. The blonde girl.
No? Well,
Yeah, I don't need to
watch
say
yourself
fuck
out
that,
there.
man. Kick this thing's ass. I'm that awesome. We'll see how this goes.
So these self-repair units and the other cyborgs, they mean they can heal themselves at any time?
Indeed. It is typically...
And you
Sir,
heal
Crap.
it? I know.
And
I get
no,
I thought it said something about this.
fascinating
Yeah, there we go.
foe. And such natural speech. I've never heard of a UG capable of conversing
Such
of its
natural
own free will.
speech. She sounds far
Yeah.
more natural than
Maybe we
most
can just talk
politicians.
this through. Any
Speaking to
weaknesses
regular
come to mind?
people.
Something I can exploit?
No particular weak points come immediately to mind.
I mean, the fact that it's a
fast as
fucking
hell,
dog
and
means
it's
you
flinging
should be able
knives
to
at me from a
outsmart it.
Indeed. I'm not sure your body can match its speed. And if you can't dodge the knives, then your best bet is to deflect them. Try entering blade mode.
I'll give it a try.
Also, it's a fucking dog. Throw a piece of meat to distract it or something. Why am I Russian now? I'm actually doing better than I did the first time because I got better at timing the evades. Some things I don't think can be evaded. And but I say, yeah, like that one can't be. Yeah, you really don't want to get hit with this, obviously. It hurts. Which means it's going to call out jobbers who serve as a chance for you to replenish your electrolytes. I'm actually doing a bit better than I did in the Lost video, to tell you the truth. So these guys serve as cannon fodder to actually give you a chance to heal. That's right, he's Gowron. So I can't always tell what you can and can't evade. I think when it glows orange, that means you can't evade. So I need to be dodging those attacks. But at the end of the day, if you're running away from it too much, you never hit it. One thing I need to do is make sure I got recovery items selected, because thanks to replaying the chapter, I had enough nano paste to get through this fight off screen, but now I've got maximum nano paste. There's really no point in not having it selected as an item to use when I get in trouble. Especially because I'm back. Oh, I shouldn't have used it right there. Okay, so there was my... No, I was jumping. I actually did know that's what I was going for. So anyway, I shouldn't have grabbed that nano paste because I had 5. I should have waited until I needed to use some. And one of my complaints about the game is that I am not aware of a button. I'm evading. There's no, like, evade button like in Neo, but I am jumping away from it as fast as I can at that point. But there's no quick reset the camera button for you to... Help me, this guy suddenly is doing terrible against me, so now I need help. And unfortunately it summons these guys, which I'm not really that great against. Although again, in my second playthrough of the level off screen, I didn't do that bad against. Yeah, that's why we're here. Oh man, that was wasteful. I'm gonna get a chance to grab its electrolytes? No? That was the whole point. Ah, crap. Time to leave them all behind, guys. Ah, crap. As soon as I go into that mode, it evades. So I take back what I said about doing better against it than I did off-screen, because I was actually doing pretty good against it off-screen. Or, I mean, the first half of the fight went way better, that I've been doing terrible since then. Although, actually, yeah, you know what, if I kill it here, it's probably about as effective as I was before. I think I used a total of 2 nano repair pastes over the course of the fight, and I think there's some to be found around this arena that I didn't find, so I did about the same. Over.
No freedom.
No peace.
Freedom undivided.
Freedom equals liberty divided by 0.
About freedom.
Fuck you, robot. You're some kind of cyborg freak, not like me. Oh, wait a second. Hold on, let me rethink that. Okay, I kind of knew that was going to explode, but for some reason I thought I'd get a chance to jump back. Because I thought there was goodies hidden back here, but there's not. So I just took damage for no good reason. What would an AI know about freedom? I guess he's got it out for AIs ever since they made fun of him back on The Big Show. Because that was most of the... I just keep blowing myself up. That was most of the plot of... most of the plot of Metal Gear Solid 2 was Raiden being mocked by an AI. Yeah, I really thought there was another repair paste hidden around here, but maybe I found them all. Oh, oops. I guess I was supposed to sneak up on some guys here. Contact, it's the reason. Do, 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 do. This guy's gonna be a real pain in the butt to deal with. This is about as far as I got before the video ended last time, and then I had to restart. But yeah, these guys are a pain in the butt when they still have their shields. I'm parrying, game. Give me your electrolytes. Give me that delicious internal Gatorade. Oh. Okay. I gotta position myself to where I can see parry and then steal his electrolytes. Because these guys really are meant to serve as, like, refill stations for you. You're not supposed to be defeated by these guys. In situations where there's a hostage, you have to figure out how to kill them quickly without being detected. In situations so that it's not a hostage, you're really just supposed to use them to recharge. I'm just having fun now. Alright. So yeah, this is about as far as I got in the last video, because around this point I stopped to talk to Boris 100 more times. And we are now at 5 of 5 nano paste, so I may want to come back off of being equipped on that. And, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I mentioned this in the Lost video, although now it's kind of a moot point, because I realized, oh, I can restart the chapter and earn more BP anytime I want. Like, there's a specific place where I knew I should be able to grind for BP that I'm trying to get to, you know, so I can piss off that one guy who really, 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 really hated my Ninja Gaiden Sigma LP, because I was grinding for in-game currency. But yeah, been trying to get there, and that's why, honestly, at this point, this is probably video 6 of the LP. I'm recording this without having made anything public, and I haven't received any of your comments yet. But I do read and pay attention to the comments. I just, in this case, yeah, not yet, because I'm recording ahead. So let's talk to Boris. Tovarich Boris.
I didn't think flares could still fool anti-air missiles like that.
See, crap. This is the thing. We gotta.
Yeah,
Apparently, he's got like stuff that he says for the whole level, and we gotta get through all of it.
No weapons and no.
and that copy.
We have just
Because he definitely had new stuff to say.
Hey Boris, about the Soliton back in.
well,
So we apparently have to cycle through all the stuff he would have said in the previous areas.
what I said.
Well, staying on the focus. Don't worry about it, about staying focused. You know, it doesn't matter. You can fail the mission. It's no biggie.
Didn't you say you'd been here before, Boris?
No, me and Natasha came
It was
here.
still Soviet territory.
Seems like it'd be a lovely place, if it weren't a war zone.
Oh,
The
good one,
Pearl
right?
of the Black Sea, they called it. Back when more Russians lived there.
It was a better
It
place.
was
man.
very popular resort spot for the USSR.
Back in the
This is
USSR.
before the wall fell, of course.
Of course, the
Then
wall
Russia and
will make
Georgia
us
began
great
to
again.
fight over the area.
Kicking off the war in the
Georgia
early 90s.
Tech and Russia have a great football rivalry.
Georgia was a Soviet republic. Abkhazia, a semi-autonomous state within it. The Soviets like to stoke ethnic rivalries between
But
the
luckily,
two.
all of that is
And
over
not
now.
just there. In all the outlying territories. It kept them easier to control.
But now, of course,
But
they're
with
all
the
independent and
Russians
free.
no longer watching over the two.
Duh. The Abkhaz were scared. They knew an independent Georgia would swallow their nation sooner
Much
or
like
later.
Georgia Tech is
So they
swallowed
took
by
advantage
Alabama
of a
in bowl
Georgian
games.
military coup to declare their own independence in '92. Of course, the new Georgian government was not happy to hear this, and so...
They put the Confederate battle flag on their flag, even though it hadn't been
and with
there
Russia
before.
supporting the Abkhaz, it was a stalemate. 2 years later, the ceasefire meant Abkhazia was finally independent, but not officially. They still are not formally recognized by Georgia, or most of the international community.
It's a
This
total
region is
bunch of
filled
crap,
with
man.
breakaway states.
This is true. There is South
Like
Ossetia,
West
also in
Carolina.
Georgia. Transnistria in East Moldova, and Nagorno-Karabakh, which broke from Azerbaijan. In any case, even Russia did not officially recognize Abkhazia as independent.
And they
until
never really
2008.
recognized Georgia as
So it was
independent,
not long
guys.
ago Sukhumi was a war zone. It has changed
No, they don't really
dramatically
recognize
since then.
Ukraine as independent.
They have been rebuilding steadily with Russian support ever since SOP was shut down.
Good to hear. But doesn't that leave them wrapped around Russia's little finger?
Yep.
It does. Which is why Dolzaev is calling for a truly independent state. He wants an Abkhazia that takes orders from no one. Not Georgia, not Moscow.
He doesn't want to
Sounds
be a
like a worthy
puppet state to
cause.
the Russians, like
Yeah.
Syria or
But
the
many
United
Abkhaz
States.
are happy with the reconstruction Russian support makes possible. Few of his fellow countrymen were interested in what Dolzaev had to say. At first.
But then he got Twitter
And that
bots.
desperado showed up.
Yes, that's when they
Exactly.
came to their
Brought
senses.
the sad
Their
ending to
outriding
this little
fences.
history lesson. It is no wonder so many people mistrust PMCs, eh?
I suppose not.
They're the Pinkertons of our time. Always murdering Dutch's gang.
Boris, do we have anything else on Dolzaev? Any more on his background?
Yet. And then the communication
Very little
ends.
confirmed intel, but it seems he is a former Chechen insurgent.
He used to be
He
Chechen, now
claims
he's
he was
not.
part of the Chechen National Congress when they declared independence in '91.
It's
This
like
was
the
just
African
after
National
the famous
Congress,
coup
but more
attempt in Moscow
Chechen.
in August. Things were
Oh, the
not
famous
stable.
coup.
Gorbachev lost his political power. It was Yeltsin who signed the Belavezha
Oh,
Accords.
that's when the
Right.
Avengers
It created
became
the
subservient to
Commonwealth of
NATO.
Independent States.
Or,
All republics
UN.
that made up the USSR became independent.
The problem is, Chechnya was never a true republic. It was an autonomous state, but still part of the Russian Republic.
Like how Abkhazia was an autonomous state within the Georgian.
Yeah, quit showing off.
Duh. The same kind of sad story.
There's more to
Russia
lose
does
in
not
love than
recognize
glory.
Chechnya as independent. They send troops and the fighting begins. It is said 250,000 Chechens were killed over the 2 wars that followed.
It's almost like I shouldn't be making fun of this.
Population. The Chechens were forced to give in, and the war officially ended.
But the rebels kept on fighting.
Insurgents
They
fled
let out
into
that
Caucasus
rebel yell.
Mountains, formed several factions. They
Luckily,
waged guerrilla war
in
on Russia ever
2020,
since.
as I
We
record
think
this, all of
Dolcev
these
is
problems
the
have gone
leader of
away and
just
things are
such a
peaceful
rebel
in that
group.
part of the world.
Sounds like Russia bears some of the blame for radicalizing him and his men.
The Russians are blameless.
I love my homeland,
Don't
but
listen
she
to
is
the
not
DNC's
perfect.
lies.
What nation is? Just remember, this could all be
America's
smoke.
perfect.
We cannot
America
even
first.
confirm Dolcev is truly ethnic Chechen.
Say he is, though. What would he be after here in Abkhazia?
I don't know, women, money.
Some Chechen militants volunteered to fight for the Abkhaz in their war in the early 90s. But when Russia recognized Abkhazia to keep Georgia in check, they also began funding recovery.
Which the Dozaev crowd see as a play to gain influence. But wasn't the Chechen recovery funded by Russia?
Yeah, whatever.
And many rebels believe this is why their people gave up on independence. Perhaps this is exactly why Dolzaev is here, to alert the people before it can happen again.
But if he
But
goes
if
into
the
alert
Abkhaz
mode, he
people
will
are
have to
not
go
interested in
into
fighting,
caution mode
his
as well.
plan could backfire.
So in a way, it's Russian policy that brought him here. He thinks he's fighting to make these people free.
Whatever his motives, no one elected him and no one gave him a permit for murder.
Well, actually, he
he's
was
alive with
elected, but he
desperado.
lost the popular
It's
vote.
too
I'm way
dangerous
more
to
political in this video than usual, so.
Raiden, if you ever get lost, use augment mode to check your next objective. By using augment mode, you can
By
see
using
enemy
augment mode, you can get the
positions
short
and the direction
history
in which
of
you
the
should head.
geopolitical history of the
for when you
region,
cannot find
and
your
I'll
objective
throw
on
in
the
some
solid
made-up
radar.
rebels.
What was up with that wolf dog UG? Some pretty freaky shit.
Will you tell me you're a cultural
Hadn't thought
expert?
too much about it.
I really don't
Really?
care.
I keep wondering, why give it intelligence if you're not gonna let it think for itself?
Good question.
Look, let's
I
ask
mean, I
God.
guess it
That's
makes
what he
sense if
did
it
with
improved
us.
combat performance.
Now that you mention it, it didn't fight like your typical UG.
It didn't
It
have
felt more like I
UG
was facing
technique.
off against a cyborg.
Oh,
Huh?
I guess the added smarts make for a tougher opponent after all.
No, cyborgs
That's
are
not
terrible
what I mean.
fighters.
It wasn't really tougher than your average UG. More like it was, I don't know, hesitant. It didn't follow through.
Hey,
on
come
its
on.
attacks
I had to
either.
burn through
Guess
2
that's
healing
why I'm
items to
still
win
just a
that battle, and
prototype.
now you're making me feel like a jabroni.
Why put it out on the front lines?
Yeah, because they don't
Who
care if it
knows?
dies.
Maybe it was the field test. In any case, probably not the result they were hoping for.
They're probably hoping I would defeat it with no items used and get an S rank.
Kev, let's go over everything we have on Desperado.
Let's not. And he
Roger
hangs
that.
up on you.
Let's see here. Desperado Enforcement LLC, registered in the U.S., Delaware.
We better run to our
Makes sense.
senses.
The U.S. doesn't regulate PMCs too closely.
Looks like almost all of their actual business is handled outside the states, though. Says here their financials are handled by a separate company based in St. Kitts and Nevis.
The preferred tax haven.
Okay, never mind. We have heard this before.
Sounds
Sounds pretty
We've
neat.
confirmed 3 key captains in Desperado. The captain...
cyborg.
Yep.
Chile, Reno, wind. Yep.
Right.
So I guess I gotta
Different
skip
as-
through all this, or else we never know if we're getting
Sorry,
new.
man, but I have to.
Well, I.
Yeah, they...
Jack.
Well,
Well, anyway.
I tell you what, it's actually time for me to call it a video. Off.
We're
No,
counting
I
on you.
can't because
Mr.
Doctor or Courtney might have new shit to say. Okay, we'll talk to Doctor and Courtney, and then off screen, I'll make sure we've exhausted all the dialogue with.
How are you doing, Courtney?
What up?
You're looking good on our end. GPS and audio-visual feed coming in fine. Energy consumption? Check.
You're getting plenty of
Damage
that
levels?
Gatorade blood.
Check. Blood pressure, brain waves, blood sugar? Check, check, check.
Spilled
All this
coffee?
monitoring
Check.
equipment, I got a better view than if I was standing right next to you. Anyway, I'll
If
be
I was any
saving all
closer,
your
I'd be in
data
back of you.
automatically anytime something important happens in the field.
So you have
But
no
contact
control.
me anytime you want a manual save.
That's the thing, is like
Copy
if you do beat
Good
a
to hear
sub
that
boss
has
and you're
a
like,
change
oh
with this new
crap,
body.
I shouldn't have
Yep,
used.
the basic system's exactly the same. So, did you want to save?
So like if so we've already been told that someone called Mistral is the boss of this invasion force, right? So Mistral, who is one of the Winds, is is not really spoilers because I'm not telling you anything about Mistral that the game hasn't told us. But yeah, they will be the final boss of this whole piece of story. So let's say that I used more healing items than I wanted to against our little, pound puppy robot chainsaw wolf friend. The game automatically saves. It's kind of annoying. I mean, it stops you from getting way far and then realizing you haven't manually saved, but
And save complete. Simple, huh?
yes,
Copy.
you are.
And glad to hear you're okay after Africa. That ambush was no joke.
Tell me about it. And it would...
I keep...
Okay, so we have
can't-
a
Ryden, you need to save?
no.
No? What's up?
I wanted to follow up on our talk earlier about the stress that comes with the job. PMC work can be traumatic, even if the pressure...
I'm not duping. They need an X...
You're right. Yeah.
Hey!
Bleh.
Oh, come...
Please tell me.
All right, suck the
A most
doctor.
fascinating opponent, wouldn't you
Okay,
say?
so he'll say his newest
did you
stuff
make
first,
it, Doc?
then go into old
Well,
stuff we haven't
everything
heard.
it said seems feasible enough. It's true all UGs feature high-level AI these days. Even
Any
enough
single
time
one
to
of them
adapt and
could be
learn,
responsible
and
for the
neuro
plot
AI
of
could
Star Trek
certainly
Discovery
become
Season
able to
2.
comprehend speech. Then, with the right interface,
I'm shaking
speech
my head at my
and
own quote
conversation
joke.
will be possible.
But what about it having actual intelligence? John Searle disproved the viability of the Turing test back in 1980. In
Yeah,
other
stop
words,
showing off.
Just because something talks like a person doesn't mean it's really thinking.
For
It could
example,
just be
our
following
president.
some program
I'm
designed
I
to make
don't.
it
I
seem
shouldn't be
as
all political.
intelligent
I
as
mean,
possible.
I'm impressed. You seem quite knowledgeable in this field.
I had a pretty memorable chat with an AI.
well, actually, it's
about 10
I'm
years
also
ago.
an AI, and I'm
After
just
that,
pretending to be
I
human.
did a little reading.
Ah, yes, of
Comic
course.
books.
The Patriot AI. I heard of this.
Was it actually intelligent, or just programmed to pretend? I'm still
Well,
not
smarter
sure.
than you are,
I
right?
suppose it depends on how one defines intelligence. For example, many term chess-playing AIs and such as having sectional intelligence.
And
Some
of course,
individuals
Barry
have
White has
sentience or
sexual
self-consciousness
intelligence.
Is a necessary part of the definition. When you ask if this UG had intelligence, I suspect this is more your criteria.
Yeah, of course. Then you could ask, how do you define sentience exactly? And on and on and on.
It's way too high
Indeed. These
thought
terms can
and
indicate a
concept for
wide
this
variety
game,
of
which is
meanings
about
depending
fucking
on
robot
one's
ninjas.
understanding. Perhaps it is less important to ask if the AI was intelligent or not than to ask how did the AI operate.
Was it the smooth
After all,
operator?
labels are useful only when they further pursuit of the truth. And that,
You
as
will not
well
get
know,
me to pick
is
a
the
gender,
goal of
Raiden. I
all
won't
science.
do it.
Sure, Doc.
Don't label
Thanks.
me as male or female,
Yes.
Raiden.
Doc, that wolf UG. You think it's possible to repair it?
Why do you
No,
ask?
only if someone was interested, and no one
curious.
could possibly
Well,
be.
normal brain tissue degrades starting approximately 3 minutes after the heart stops.
But that thing's got
With
the freak
neuro
brain.
AI, however, the spin of the internal electrons is retained even after electric power is cut. Assuming there is no damage to the actual AI hardware itself, yes, repairs should be possible.
So I defeated it without damaging
Whatever
it.
state it is in, I would certainly appreciate it if you could bring it back with you.
I'm looking
see
for
what I
an
can
adorable
do.
pet
But
that
the
also
mission
has
takes
chainsaw
priority.
capabilities.
Of course. I would never suggest otherwise.
Actually,
Well,
you
let's
asked
just
me,
say this
so
thing
why
is
are
what
you
it
getting
claimed
this
to be.
attitude?
You think there are other intelligent UGs out there?
Uggs.
Because if that's the case, I've got a feeling future missions are only going to get rougher.
Indeed, dozens of UGs chatting away on the field would be enough to drive anyone to distraction.
Much
Neuro
like my
AIs are
commentary.
not von
And now
Neumann
this is me
computers,
talking as
keep in
myself,
mind.
but in the doctor
Structurally, they are
voice for some
closer
reason.
to human brains. Hardware and software are indivisible. The learning data can't simply be transplanted to other AIs.
So it can't be copied or backed up either.
Normal UGs must be taught individually. This entails streaming.
Is there any
traditional
scientific backup for
audiovisual
this,
and
or are you
body
just
sensor
trying to
data
make us
and keep it
care
ready
about
to be shipped
potentially
out?
threatening the life of this
Process can be
robot
sped up by
wolf at some
increasing
point in
and
the
improving
future of
processing
the
speed.
story?
But I have no data on how long it would take to train such an AI how to converse.
It might
I
take the
couldn't even
entire
tell you if
game.
There's a training program established for such a thing in
Might
the
be
first
something
place.
that won't happen until
If
the
it is
sequel,
indeed
which
a
will never
prototype,
happen.
It likely learned and honed its skills via the process of trial and error.
So it's unique.
I cannot say with certainty, but I have not heard of any UG like this before. I would imagine that it was telling the truth when it called itself an experimental prototype.
You know, experimental
And maybe
prototypes is like
others.
video games
Or
answers
perhaps
for
it's the only
throwing
one in
in
existence.
technology that
Glad we narrowed
doesn't
that
reappear
down.
in the series and never made sense to begin with. Alright, I know we're past 30 minutes. I just want to keep talking to Doctor until he says something we've heard before, and then I can call it a video.
How is your eye, Raiden?
Great. My sight's perfectly balanced.
Quite right.
200 me-
More were we to...
Huh.
No.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we've heard
Compared
this
to
before.
previous
So when we come back
ACEs,
next time,
yours has
I will
1.5
have
times the resolution
gotten
and a
everybody's
superior
dialogue
compression
all
algorithm.
out of them so
It may
that
only
when we
result
go
in
into
a
future
slight
areas,
perceived change,
we might
but
be
it
able to
could
hear new
wind up making
stuff.
the
It'll be
difference during a
super
mission.
exciting.
Regrettably,
And we'll
I
be
have not
fighting our
had
way
enough
towards
time to develop
Mistral,
a new
whatever
eyeball unit
that
just
might be.
yet.
Catch you guys next time.
Thus